Welcome back. This is John Locke, and today's topic is one that's way past due. But I wanted to make sure that I was seeing it with my own eyes and not just repeating what other people have said, because believe me, a lot of SEOs do that. They'll just repeat what other people say until it becomes truth. But what we're talking about today is sites that are built in JavaScript, that are rendered on the client side, meaning they're compiled in the browser, and the effect on SEO. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is when I first started doing web development, and this is probably I guess it's been a while now. 2010 is when I first started learning how to build websites. Most of the web at that point was servers. Most of the websites out there were built in server-side languages. So things like PHP or .NET or things like that. Well, I guess .NET was kind of on its way out, but all the major content management systems like WordPress, Drupal, Joomla, they were all built in PHP. Well, in recent years, because I guess PHP is just for old people and it's boring, everybody has kind of moved to, I wouldn't say everybody, but there is a gradual shift going on where people are building sites in JavaScript libraries like React, for example. And sites that are being rendered in the client side, meaning the browser. So that might mean Angular, that might mean React, depending on how the server is set up. These are definitely having a hit on the SEO. And I had heard people talk about this, but I hadn't really, had a chance to witness it with my own two eyes and make an honest assessment of it. Well, that has changed, and that's why I'm making this video today. I can honestly say that sites that are not pre-rendered, meaning the server has not been set up to compile the page on the server side, but instead all the information compiles once you make a request, and it's all compiled in the browser. These definitely are taking an SEO hit. Now, I noticed just a week ago a prospect had reached out to me, and they had recently redone their site, and the site had basically, all their leads had dried up, their phone is not ringing. They're ranking for a couple things, but not nearly like what they were before. Their rankings basically bottomed out. And sure enough, I look at, right click, view source, I look at the source. The page, it's, the source code there, it's basically just a placeholder. None of the stuff that's actually on the page is in the source code, meaning I dug a little deeper. I looked at what CMS they were using. It was some very obscure CMS and JavaScript based. So whoever built their site, sure enough, it was a client rendered JavaScript CMS, and their rankings took a hit. Now, that might not have been the only thing, but I have seen a few other cases that I researched, and I saw the same thing happen, where people's rankings dropped after they moved to a client-side rendered JavaScript site. Now, why are people doing this? Why are web developers doing this? You would think that, they would know better. The fact of the matter, a lot of web developers, they're very good at web development. I'd say I'm probably like an intermediate web developer. I'm not a spectacular web developer, but I know enough to get the job done. But I definitely know more PHP than I do some of these newer JavaScript libraries. What happens is a lot of web developers, they focus in on learning new languages. That's kind of a thing that they do a lot of the time. And because a lot of things are moving toward JavaScript rendered, that is what a lot of people are building in because it's cool, because it's awesome. And to build on that, there's a lot of small web companies where their main talent might be design, or it might be branding, and they don't necessarily understand the implications of having sites built in these types of obscure CMSs, or using client-side rendered JavaScript to build sites. Now, there is special configuration that you can do on servers, apparently, to get it to pre-render, but I guess it's a pain in the butt to get it to do this, which is another reason why people don't do it, because it requires a lot more extra work to get the server to compile everything on the server side before the request is made. But this is definitely having an impact on SEO. So any type of site that is being rendered not on the server but on the client side using JavaScript is being impacted by this. You know, and like I said, you know, some of these web design companies, they're small. They might have a couple designers. They sell the work, and then they might have a freelancer that they work with. And like I said, that might be what they do. It just happens to be what they work with, is you know, something like React or maybe some obscure CMS. And you know, the people who are selling the project don't know any better, because maybe they don't really specialize in SEO. They just specialize in doing the design. They figure this other guy or this other gal is good at doing the development, and yeah, we can get the job done. But they don't think about the impact that it has on rankings. And a lot of the smaller agencies that you know might not think about that. So I just wanted to put this out there. There is definitely a correlation between having your site built in some kind of funky CMS that does client-side rendering of JavaScript, and the site is built like that, and it's compiled like after people go to a certain page. Instead, what you should be doing is taking the extra steps to set up the server to have it pre-render those JavaScript pages to where you're not having this kind of thing happen. Now, Google has said, and the reason why I'm saying this too, Google has said that they can render these types of JavaScript pages. They can crawl them, but the evidence is a little bit to the contrary. What it sounds like is they have to make several passes at the page in order to crawl it effectively and index it. So meaning Googlebot has to make several trips in order to get that page. So the first time that the Googlebot actually goes to crawl and index that page, it actually doesn't get the full page. So it has to make a couple more trips, which could be, you know, who knows how long, before it actually gets the full page and gets that page into the index. So that is something that you need to be aware of. You know, there's a reason why PHP is still one of the most popular languages, or the server-side languages out there are still popular, is because they are effective. They might be boring to developers, but they actually get the job done. They're reliable. You know what you're going to get. The search engines know how to crawl those pages. Those pages are rendered on the server, so when you type in a web address, it's already there. It doesn't. Your browser doesn't need to do extra work in order to compile the page. And like I said, Googlebot is essentially like another type of a special web browser that basically goes to collect the page, get all the information, put it in the actual index to where it can decide where it needs to be ranked. The problem is a lot of that content is being left out. I just thought I'd put that out there. I'm John Locke. My name's my name is John Locke. My business is Lockdown Design and SEO. Sorry about that. I'm here every single day publishing videos. Would love to see you subscribe. Yesterday's video, we talked about the June 2019 Google Core update to the ranking algorithm, and a lot of people have jumped on that, so go check that out. That's all I have for this video. Until next time, peace.